Well, good morning and welcome to another Memphis Monday. You already caught me putting the wheels on and finishing up some last minute staining right down the bottom because once this thing's down on its wheels, that's probably where it's going to stay. Last time we got all the panels cut and the dados cut and the stars cut and all that business, and so I assembled those pieces up this morning, and you saw me taking the piece off the workbench. I basically filmed that because I wanted to see it myself because that rascal is heavy. All right, first thing we're going to do today before we start on any of the trim is I'm going to build up the centering and the locking mechanism on the top. So let's get to that project right now. Over here on the prototype top, this is the centering. This is the centering brackets, the centering cleats that are aligned, that fall into the cabinet top. That centers it and keeps it from sliding off and so forth. But to keep the lid from being, to secure the lid on there, we need a locking mechanism, which is this little T-handle right here. And then that little T-handle locks against this bolt right here, or locks against this brace that goes across the top here. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need on the piece, we need to put the top on the cabinet and trace. Once we get it where we want it, we trace that location of these centering brackets from the underside, and then we can install these brackets. Here what I'm doing is I'm just reaching up under this cabinet and tracing the opening that we have to match with the braces. Instead of putting in the square box arrangement I had in the prototype, I've decided just to put in 3 cleats, which will serve the same purpose, and the ends, the end clearance will be defined by the ends of these cleats. Here's what I'm doing for the little handle, holds the top on. Just cut a little piece of wood. You saw me sanding it down. This screw here will secure it to the top and also provide a bearing surface. So if I put this on here, see that the rotates freely on that smooth part of the screw, and I just put it on here and screw it in place. The next thing we're going to work on is this this trim. What this is aspen, and it's 4 inches deep. The rabbi wanted the lip on the other side to be an additional 1/2 inch higher, so the new trim I'm making, it will be 4.5 inches wide. This trim looks pretty fancy, but it's still real easy to do. All you do is just put a bead of glue on it, wherever you want the trim. Then you take the trim piece and stick it down. The only thing you have to be careful of is just getting it aligned on there. It sticks real good. I got the first one glued up. It dries pretty fast. I'll let it set up for a few minutes and then do the other one. In addition to this trim we're putting around the top, this is the prototype type top we've been working on. We got two other kinds of trim. We got this beading detail that's going to be wraparound. And then at the top and at the bottom, we have this cornice trim here. And what we have to do on this and the beading trim is to stain it. So let's do that now. I'm staining this now primarily because you do a better job when you stain something on the workbench, but also it eliminates the possibility of dripping this trim stain onto somewhere where it's not supposed to be on the rest of the piece. Well, we got most of the trim stained and ready to go. I started doing some trimming. We're back over here at the prototype, and I wanted to show you the hardest trimming we got to do, and that is this top rim piece. Because of this 12-degree angle, this angle right here, this compound angle, is the hypotenuse of the triangle, and so that line right there is longer. That cut is longer than the width of the trim. Luckily, it's only 12 degrees, and so it's not a big difference, but we're going to have to cut a compound angle here that will be 45 this way, and then lean back 14 degrees that way. And we also have to remember that we'll need a 14-degree cut back here. So let's go over and see how we're going to do that. I'm such an optimist. I always think this stuff's going to happen on the first try. The saw is leaned 12 degrees to take up for the angle of the top, and then the miter is set at 45 degrees. So let's see if this works. Let's see how we did. That's about as good as it's going to get with that angle thrown in there. Nominally, this top trim here is not really seen, but I kind of want to get it right. Let's nail it in and put the other side on. I got it up on its back, flipped upside down so I can get at that trim better. While we're at it, I'll just show you the wheels. Made a little change on the wheels. I thought the prototype was riding a little low, and that would be a problem in the future on thicker rugs or whatever. So I added about an 1/8 inch spacer under the wheels so to give a little bit more clearance. All right, let me go ahead and get this trim on. Well, I got the case all trimmed out. Now we need to get over here to the trim for the top and get this sanded and applied to the top. All the trim's a little bit on the top is all a little bit too wide for my miter saw, so I have to trim it by hand. It's even too wide for my back saw. On this trim, what I'm doing is kind of holding it up with the correct spacing all the way around. The rabbi wanted an inch spacing all the way around, so I just spaced it up with an inch board, and that kind of holds it in place while I get it all fitted. What I'm doing here is kind of walking this final piece of trim in. There's probably a right way to do this, but I don't know what that is. So I'm just, I guess it's called walking it in. Of course, you don't have to do all this for the side pieces, but this end piece here has two beveled edges, so just kind of get it close. I'll take about 2 saw blades off that. Well, we're a little closer. I'll take another saw blade off of it. Well, closer still, but still no cigar. Take another saw blade. What I'm doing here is taking a little bit off with the sander. Well, there she is. All the woodworking's done. But I think it's a little light, and so I'm going to put another coat of penetrating stain on some of the trim. Let me go over the workbench and show you what I'm going to do. Here's before and after shot. Over on the right side there is the color of the stain, the color of the trim now. And I'm going to put another coat of this penetrating stain on it and darken it just a little bit. Okay, what I've done here is I put the stain on the left side so you can see the difference. It's just some of that might just be wetness that making it a little darker, but it's a tad darker. So let me go ahead and finish putting that stain on. Why didn't you remind me? I haven't filled these nail holes yet. Got to do that. Well, that's it for another Memphis Monday. Thanks for watching. This was the conclusion, part 4 of building the Torah table. Did a lot of finishing work, a lot of design work, a lot of woodworking, and so I'll see you next week.